Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to a brand new video. And today we're doing a comparison on the LEGO Star Wars AT-TE Walker. Now, in front of you, you have the three main versions of the AT-TE Walker. Now, yes, there is a fourth one from the Star Wars Rebels TV show known as Captain Rex AT-TE, but technically, since that's not from the prequel trilogy / kind of Clone Wars era, I've gone ahead and not included that in this video. But moving from left to right, we have 4482 with 658 pieces, 4 minifigures, and it retailed for $70. In the middle, we have set number 7675. It has 799 pieces, 6 minifigures, and retailed for $90. And then finally, set number 75019 has 794 pieces, 5 minifigs, and also retailed for $90. So in this video, we're going to go ahead and compare the three by a variety of factors. And those categories are the overall design of the build, so that kind of includes the stability and overall design. Then you have kind of its value, so kind of what all you get for its original retail price. You got kind of the accuracy / size feature, then playability, so that's all kind of the play features, and finally the minifigures. And for each of these, I'll be kind of rating them out of 5 and then kind of adding up their total scores. And based on that, we will be seeing which of these AT-TE walkers is the best. So without further ado, let's go and get started and jump right into the minifigs. So let's go ahead and start off looking at the minifigures. So 4482 has 4 of these identical Phase 1 clone troopers. Again, they are kind of the older variant where you have the cutout visor helmets and black heads underneath them. And again, you get 4 of those identical in this set. In here we have 7675's minifigures. There are a total of 6. You have Anakin and Ahsoka from their Season 1 Clone Wars outfits. You have Captain Rex in his Phase 1 armor, as well as a Phase 1 clone trooper. And again, you can see they have the Clone Wars variant of the head. You have Rada, who I'm sadly missing an arm on, and then just a plain regular battle droid. And then finally, you have the 2013 version. So you have Coleman Trevor, Mace Windu, a regular clone trooper, and he actually does also have a newer version of the clone trooper head. I believe he is actually a clone trooper commander. Then you have 2 of the Geonosian battle droids. These are in the dark orange color, so you have a regular version and then a commander. So those are the minifigures. Alright, and just want to quickly take a look at the side builds included in the sets. So the 4480 2003 AT-TE does include this very cool speeder here, kind of in this dark red color. So you can see some nice detailing there, and you can have a minifigure standing up on that. The 7675 AT-TE does include a staff here in the kind of blue color of the Clone Wars, so he can fit a regular battle droid on the back. So there's a quick look at the side builds, and the 2013 75019 AT-TE sadly does not have any side builds. Right. So let's start off this comparison by taking a look at the front sections of the 3 builds. So in terms of the height, I've actually gone ahead and put a 2003 clone trooper below each, just for a bit of reference with respect to a minifigure. But let's start off just taking a look at the height, so you can obviously tell the 2003 model is the shortest. And the reason for that is the legs are actually significantly shorter than the 2 other versions. The actual bodies of the 3 builds are almost identical in terms of height or size. However, for the 2003 one, since the legs are shorter, it is much more closer to the ground. The 2008 and 2013 versions are pretty much identical in terms of height. The 2008 version is a little bit taller, therefore it has kind of the tallest. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the front sections. So the 2003 and 2008 versions are kind of identical in terms of their front cockpit designs, where they're kind of made using the kind of brick technique with connected by these hinges. So you can kind of just lift these sections down to reveal the interior. We'll quickly take a look at those. So pretty simple there, and it just kind of slides into those grooves. The 2008 version here, and that also has the same design. Now the 2013 version, on the other hand, has kind of a significantly new design, where you can actually go ahead and take the cockpit and completely remove it, like such. So for these 2 models, the hinge kind of technique is a bit fragile, and this whole section can easily break off. However, that was gone ahead and fixed in the 2013 version. So you can see there. And one big thing is the fact that this entire section is made using plates rather than the bricks like the previous two. And that just slides right back in like so. So again, these two kind of sections are a bit fragile, so they were really able to kind of fix the technique and design. And overall, I personally do prefer kind of the plate design on the front, other compared to the others. Now, all four do also have the bubble turns all sides, and these are actually the kind of same design going across the three. So they do kind of move somewhat in all directions here, as you can see there. And overall, you got kind of the same design for all three. Now, the 2008 one does have a extra added play feature, and that is if you were to push on this entire section here, a spring-loaded cannon would fire out. So that's this piece here, and so you have one on each side. So that's a nice little extra added play feature. All right, and here's a quick look at the side views of each of the three. Again, since they're so long, it's actually kind of not fitting in my background, so apologies for that. But again, you can kind of take a quick look at the side views. So the 2008 one is obviously the longest of the three. And again, we'll take a closer look at those in just a second. I just thought I'd show a quick look at them side by side. All right, and here we have a look at the back sections of the three. So right off the bat, you can tell, just first off, you can see kind of the height difference once again. All three of them have the kind of two sets of bubble turns, which are again exactly identical to the ones on the front. So they do kind of move almost 360 degrees. In order to kind of access the interiors, you can actually take this whole panel and lift it up, and that is where you would place your speeder. So this is a speeder that comes in the set, and you can actually slide it inside like such. So a fun little feature there. And again, we'll take a better look at the interiors in just a second. This section, this piece is actually able to move a little bit, but technically it is meant to be stationary. And if you wanted to access the interior, you could only open up this section here. And then the 2013 version, this entire section lifts up. So this back section is actually connected to the top panel, and that is kind of gives more easy access to the interior. You also do have a ladder there. So there is kind of a look at that. But now I thought I'd just quickly point this out here. Look at the feet of the three. So the 2008 and 2013 models are identical in terms of the feet design, with kind of these rounded dish and slopes. Well, the 2008 one is actually quite exposed, so you can kind of, it is a bit fragile and exposed. You can see it has these kind of four slopes, which sadly do easily break off. So, you know, in terms of the design, definitely the latter two are much more superior in terms of their feet design, just because of the actual design. And then you also have a lot more technique and stability in these two versions. So there's a look at that. And again, you can kind of see a better look at some of the side paneling, which we'll take a closer look at. All right, so here we have a look at kind of the upper views of all three models, and you can obviously get a better look at the sides. So the 2008 version is obviously the longest, then the 2003 version, and finally the 2013 version. On the top here, you can see each three of them, of course, have their own turns, and they do all move 360 degrees. So here on the 2008 one, you can see it has the longest actual nozzle, and you have a section to place your minifigure. And what's also cool is you can move it up and down, so the whole turret kind of moves up and down, which is a nice feature. The 2003 version, you can move it 360 degrees, however, it does not move up and down. And again, you can see there's a seat for your minifigure as well as a control panel. And then finally, the 2013 version also can move 360 degrees like so, and the actual nozzle can move up and down rather than the whole turret. And you can see there is a place to fit a figure as well as a couple of flick fire missiles. Now, quickly just comparing kind of the side detailing here. So they're all pretty similar. The 2013 version actually has kind of a bit more of a different design, using kind of these larger stickers for detailing, while the 2008 and 2003 versions are pretty similar in terms of their design, with kind of these small Republic emblems. Actually, all three do have the sticker Republic emblems. All right, so let's go ahead and start off and take a look at the front parts of the interior and then move on to the back. So up here in the front for the 2008 version, you have the small section which opens up. So this actually has a nice little piece with a light, and then a kind of hatch for the Clone Trooper armor. And that just kind of slides right back in like such. And you have two seats here for two minifigures. So overall, it's relatively spacious. Again, right here is where you have access to the spring-loaded cannons. so that also takes up a bit more space. The 2003 version here, you could actually lift this entire piece up, and it is a bit of a tight squeeze, and that reveals 4 seats here with 4 blasters. So that's a fun little design there, and that just kind of also slides back in like such. And then finally, the 2013 version actually does not have an interior in the front. All it has is a section for these 4 kind of missiles or flip fire missiles, but other than that, there is really no interior. If you look, there's actually there's quite a bit of space, but they have sadly not added any seats for minifigures. And again, those just close up like such. And now let's go ahead and move on to the back. Alright, and here we have a look at the back section. So I did end up actually removing the panels from these two completely so you can get a better look at the interior. So on the 2008 version, you have this section which opens up, and this reveals 4 more seats and 4 blaster racks. Now that gives a total of 6 seats in this ATTE, which is really awesome. Now the 2003 version, it's quite empty. That is actually where your speeder would go, so that was actually shown earlier in the review. And so that's why that space is empty, but you do have a couple sections here for accessories. Then the 2013 version has actually no interior. So we'll actually lift it up just so you can get a better look. But you can see here, there is absolutely no really area or seats at least, but they did give a area for a couple of blaster clips there. So mainly you could stand about 4 or 5 figures in there, but they did not provide any seats. So overall, in terms of interior detailing, it is a bit lacking. So there you have a look at all 3 of the walkers. Alright, and lastly, just want to quickly mention the way to pick these up. So the 2008 version, you kind of have to hold it from this section here or from kind of the underbelly, but there's really no really good way to pick up and kind of play around with it. The 2008 version does have a handle here, so you can kind of lift it up like such, which is pretty cool. And then the 2013 version also has a handle, which you can kind of lift up the overall design with. And then again, you can kind of get a better look at some of the back detailing. So that will go ahead and complete the comparison of these 3 models. Alright, but there you go. So there was a look at the comparison on the LEGO Star Wars ATTE walkers. Alright, so now let's quickly go through the rankings. So starting off with value, I ended up giving 448 a 4, overall $70. It was a pretty solid value in terms of kind of everything you got. 4 solid figs. For 7675, I ended up giving it a 5 because again, the build is so large, you get quite a bit with it, so that's awesome. 6 minifigures, definitely the most out of either of the sets, so I gave it a 5. And 75019, I gave a 4. Again, overall, I wish 1 or 2 more minifigs would have been added to make the set perfect. Moving along, accuracy and size, I ended up giving 4482 a 3, just because of the fact that there are some inaccuracies, mainly it's a bit too short to the ground, and then the turn itself is actually on the cockpit rather than the main body. I'd give 7675 a 4. Again, personally, I think it's solid, but that cockpit section looks a little too small in my opinion. And then I gave it 75019 a 4. Again, the actual design and looks accuracy-wise is amazing. The only problem is I feel it is a bit too short. Moving along, playability, I ended up giving 4482 a 4. Again, the speeder bike kind of compartment in the back, as well as the accessibility in the front. So there's definitely a good amount of play features and access. I ended up giving 7675 a 5. Again, that spring-loaded shooter, that was a very cool, nice feature, easily kind of hidden. So I definitely had to give that a solid score. And then ended with 75019 a 4. Again, you had some nice play features, with the flick-fire missiles and the nice accessibility. And moving along in terms of the design, I ended up giving 4482 a 3, just because of the fact that the legs are actually quite unstable and can break quite easily, plus there are kind of quite a few gaps in the build. And 7675 receives a 4, again, because of the fact that the build is solid. The only problem is there are those gaps kind of in those kind of corner sections and like where the middle feet meet, so that is definitely a bit annoying. And then I end up giving 75019 a 5. Again, a solid design, really sturdy, really stable. Again, looks great as well, so definitely got a 5 there. And then finally, in terms of the minifigs, I ended up getting 4482 a 4. Again, you had some really solid minifigs in terms of the 4 clones.
7675 got a 5. Again, you got some awesome figs, couple of clones, a couple Jedi, so overall a great value. And then I ended up giving 75019 a 3. Just for the fact that I felt it was a bit lacking. Maybe one or two more clone troopers would have really sealed the deal. Alright, and that gives a total score of 18 to 4482. 7675 gets a 23, and 75019 gets a 20. So the 2008 ATTE 7675 is the best based on this ranking system. Now again, personally, I definitely do like the design of that 75019 and kind of the look of it much more than for a 7675. However, the size and then kind of the lack of figs really kind of dragged it down a bit.
But anyways, there you go. So thank you so much for watching this video. And if you enjoyed it, a thumbs up would be great. Do not forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more videos coming very soon. Let me know which one of these down in your comments below is your favorite. But anyways, I'll see you all next time.